Letter in the Attic, Paris, 1917. In the cobbled wartime district of Montmartre, where the wind carried whispers of fear and the distant rumble of artillery, Juliette Armand existed quietly. Her room was a cramped, airless pocket beneath a slanted zinc roof, but its single window offered a slanted view of the city's heart. Crowned by the dome of the Sacré-Cœur, a pale, enduring promise in the smoky sky. In the gray hush of 1917 Paris, life was small, rationed, and punctuated by loneliness. One cold evening, as Juliette swept the dusty floorboards, her broom snagged on a plank that gave way with a soft clack. Beneath it, nested like a forgotten bird's nest, lay a bundle of yellowed envelopes tied with a piece of brittle rose-colored ribbon. The letters were addressed in firm, slightly smudged ink to a woman named Camille. The writer was a soldier, Etienne Larocque. Juliette unpicked the knot with careful fingers, the faint scent of old paper and tobacco smoke rising from the pages. She read the first one by the flickering light of her single candle. My dearest Camille, the rain here smells like home. It clings to the wet wool of my coat and reminds me of your garden after a storm. I dream of your hands, just their shape, their quiet strength, and it steadies me for the next day. Hold that shape for me, my darling, until I return. There were dozens of them, each a desperate reach across the trenches of the Great War. Etienne's words were gentle, humorous, and achingly alive. He wrote of the beauty of a single poppy in the mud, of his certainty that his violin awaited him in Verona, and always, always of his immutable devotion to Camille. Yet not one envelope had ever been opened. The secrets of Camille and Etienne's fate remained sealed. Night after night, the ritual was the same. Juliette would arrange the letters in chronological order and read the conversation that had never been received. Etienne's presence filled her small, empty room. His courage became her own quiet companion. She didn't know if he was alive or dead, nor why Camille had never answered. But his unwavering hope was a lifeline in her own war against despair. And then, one damp, quiet night, after reading the latest letter, a cheerful account of sharing a tin of sardines, Juliette took up her pen. She pulled a clean sheet of paper from her writing desk, dipped the nib into the dark well of ink, and wrote the address of Etienne's distant regiment. Then she wrote, Dear Etienne, you don't know me, but your words found me in a quiet attic in Montmartre. I am not Camille, but tonight your words were exactly what I needed to hear. They speak of a life beyond the trenches, a quiet, beautiful future. Perhaps this is what love is, to be moved by someone who will never knock at your door. I hold the shape of Camille's hands for you, and I wait with you for the day the guns fall silent. Juliette wrote every few days, a conversation carried on the wind of time. She never mailed a single one. She wrote about the light filtering through the dome of Sacré-Cœur, about the good bread she managed to buy, about her own small hopes. She simply tucked her letters, bound with a new blue ribbon, clear, clean, and full of her own fresh ink, beneath the loose floorboard, right beside Etienne's brittle bundle. Through those unsent words, Juliette began to live again. She found courage to laugh with her neighbors, to work with renewed vigor, and to walk the dark city streets without the constant, dull ache of fear. It was as though Etienne's presence, though only in ink, had rescued her, not with grand promises, but with a simple, enduring connection. Many decades later, the old Montmartre building was purchased for restoration. When the workmen lifted the floorboards of the tiny attic room, they found the two bundles. Etienne's letters were yellowed, his ink faded almost to transparency. Next to them lay Juliette's, the blue ribbon still tied neatly, her elegant script still clear and vibrant. The letters were eventually given to the curator of a small Paris museum who understood the heartbreaking symmetry of the discovery. He created a small, focused exhibit called Letters That Were Never Answered, a dialogue across decades. Juliette's bundle was labeled with the script found on her binding ribbon. To the one who taught me to love without meeting. Visitors would stand silently before the glass case, reading the soldier's hopes and the lonely woman's replies, a conversation spanning the chasm of history. They said that for a moment, the gray, quiet attic of Montmartre seemed to breathe again, alive with the echo of two hearts that had finally found each other. Not through a meeting, but through a promise held in time.